Welcome back to AI Lesson 3. We left off right after making our pear, and now we're going to work with the ellipticals a little bit more. So I'm going to zoom in to right next to my pear here. I'm going to grab my elliptical tool again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw two small circles that are each about 0.7 in width. So I'm going to hit Shift after I start drawing, and notice that these cross lines have come up in the circles. This is also to show you that you can keep a perfect circle by holding down Shift as you draw. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the selection tool, hold down Option, and I am going to copy. So I'm still holding down Option while I move it to copy that circle. Now I'm going to also hold down Shift to make sure I move it just over a little bit so that their circles, their centers don't quite align. They're a little bit beyond that. And done. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create one more circle. About as wide as the other two. And then I want to zoom in and I want to take a look at this widget right here. This is the pie widget. It allows us to cut out parts of a pie, like Pac-Man. Alright, we're going to actually take that and bring that over 180 degrees. You can hold Shift at this point too. I think it might help. It usually does, when in doubt. But we're going to bring it to 180 degrees. Close enough. Really, doesn't matter too much. In the Properties section, under Transform, we can click more, and we could actually type in 180 degrees. Makes life easier for all of us. Now we're going to move this piece up here. Oh, it's a little too big. So I just made it a little smaller. So you kind of get this little heart shape going on. We're going to circle over those, and we are going to make them red. Which shade of red? Like this one right up here. Doesn't really matter too much. You can make your tomato a whole nother color. I don't care. The next thing that we are going to do is we are going to copy that half circle. So I'm going to hold down Option and drag down that half circle. We're going to turn that into something else later. Bam. So far, so good. I'll show you how to make these into one shape later on. So we're going to move back to the bowl now, and we're going to change the stroke, width, and alignment. So we're going to grab the black selection tool, and we're going to select the bottom of this bowl. And we're going to zoom in to kind of help make sure we see it. And over in the Properties panel, we're going to hit Stroke. We're going to click on the word stroke, and this brings up the properties of our stroke. So we're going to bring our stroke up to 2. We're then going to change it so it's inside our shape versus stroking outside of our shape. We're then going to go back and click on the color box next to the stroke, and we're going to select that lighter brown that the main bowl is. Yes, the lighter brown that the main bowl is. Get a little bit more dimension there, while also learning how to go back and adjust strokes. Now we're going to create a polygon. So I'm going to click and hold on the ellipse tool. I'm going to grab the polygon tool. We're going to turn Smart Guides off for a moment. So we're going to go to View, Smart Guides, and we're going to turn those off at the moment. Those are those pink lines that pop up to help us align things. So what we're going to do is We're going to drag, but don't release the mouse, because this is one too many sides to our polygon. While you're holding it down, if you hit up and down on the arrow keys, you can actually change the size of your polygon. So we want it 5-sided. We're going to hit Shift to straighten the shape and let go. So right now it's that same color that we just used, and that's not really what we want. And the reason we turned off the smart guides earlier, just to let you know, is that if they were on, the shape would start snapping to other content when we straightened it instead of straightening to the artboard. So let's change its color. So we're going to come over here, we're going to go to Fill, and we're going to select a green. Yeah, this one right here. C85M10Y100K10. Doesn't really matter exactly what colors you choose, actually, so I won't worry about it. And we're going to remove the stroke. So there we go. Next, with the polygon tool still selected, we're going to notice that there's this little diamond right here. When we hover over it, there's a plus minus. This is the side widget tool, and actually we're going to drag it up or down. We're going to drag it down till it says 6, because we actually wanted 6 sides. Now we're going to flip it so that it stands on a point. So I hold down the Shift key while I rotate it. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to come up here to the transform, and we're going to edit it so that the width is 35. And we'll make the height, I don't know, 0.7. Should be good. Looks like a little leaf, kind of. But let's make it look even more like a leaf. So we're going to zoom in, Command plus, and I'm going to grab the corner widget tool here. And notice that that changes things, but it's not quite exactly what we want to do. So there should be more corner tools. So I'm going to select that again. I'm going to see what we need the direct select, the white arrow. There we go. So now you see a corner for everyone. We're going to click on this top left one. We're going to hold down Shift, and we're going to click simply on the inside ones, leaving the top and bottom. We're then going to click on this bottom one and drag over until we get a leaf tool. It should highlight red because it'll be restricted. So it looks like a leaf now finally. And there you have it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a star. Now the star does the same thing as the polygon tool. And it allows us to edit with the up and down arrow. We want to edit it so that we have just 4 sides with 1 point pointed background. Now if we hold down Command while we draw, this keeps the center consistent. So let's say you're like, oh, I want the center to be right here, but I want it to be pointy like that. That's good. That helps with that. Pressing the Shift key straightens the star out. And we're just going to kind of make it look like this for now. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to create another star. We're going to change this one so it is approximately 0.4 inches. So I'm going to cheat, and I'm actually going to put it over here in the width and height. 0.4, 0.4. And now we're going to select the star tool, press Shift, and draw a star that's smaller than the first. We're going to edit this one specifically. So I'm going to come over here to the highlight tool, and we're going to take a look. To rotate the star, we're in the transform section of the properties panel. We're going to change the rotate value, which is this right here, to 45. So it looks like that. We're going to change the height value to 0.14 with this link together, so that every time I change it here, it will change there as well. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to take that selection tool and we're going to put it inside here. We're going to fill the smaller one with yellow. And we're going to click the larger star and make it white. We're going to drag across and we're going to group these. So now they're one shape together. Don't worry, we'll be able to find it because it's got a yellow center. So next we're going to draw a line. We're going to rasterize. We're going to work with a raster image, and we are going to use the Draw Behind tool. So these are live shapes. They allow you to adjust them as needed. Well, now we're going to make live lines. They also have many editable attributes after they are drawn. So that's the thing, that's what live shapes are. They're editable after they've been drawn. And in fact, let me see what the book exactly has to say about live shapes. So after you draw them, using the shape tool, you can modify them in the properties. You can modify things such as width, height, corners, types, radii, individually or collective radiuses. This is also known as live shape. The live shape properties, such as corner radiuses, are editable even after you've created the shape. So that's what those are, and that will be a question at the end of this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a live line. So let's go ahead, and that's our last thing in our shape tool. Underneath the star tool, there's the line segment tool. I'm going to highlight off of things, unselect things, and we're going to draw a line. We're going to draw it straight up. We're going to hold Shift. It's going to be about 2 inches in length. But what I just realized is I need to view my smart guides. I had undone them for one of our shapes, and I need them back. So now I can see what height I'm drawing again, and I can make that 2 inches. We're then going to hold the Shift key and rotate that line just like we would a shape 45 degrees. So with the new line selected, we're going to select the selection tool to select it, and we're going to drag it from this right underneath the bowl, right there. If we let go of it, the line will disappear because it currently doesn't have a stroke, as you noticed. But I can click back where it was. Now I'm going to give it a stroke of 2 points. And in the color, we're going to select the brown color that is, let's see here. C35. This one right here. We're going to select that brown color according to the book, it really doesn't matter that much.